the sun shines through the roof at the house. You might wonder why. Well, actually there's no roof on the house. It's an outline of a house. This isn't any normal house. In fact, it looks very similar to the house next door and the house next door to that. So behind us we have some normal houses, but this is late May 2024. It's been 7 years since I last visited this site. And for those of you who are familiar with my YouTube channels, one of the first YouTube channels that you'll see tells the story of Joplin, Missouri. Tells a story of death, destruction, despair, but above all, a story of hope. And that's one of the reasons why these young children over here are playing in this park. We're at Cunningham Park in Missouri and Joplin. Now, just immediately in front was the Regional Medical Centre. Stood strong, served the whole region until a 38-minute disaster struck in May 2011 on the 22nd. 3:41. Try again. 5:41 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Should have been a peaceful, relaxing Sunday afternoon. Been a lovely day. Some reports of tornado sirens going off, but little did they know that Joplin, Missouri was in for a 38-minute EF5 tornado. Now, if you know nothing about tornadoes, EF5 is one of the highest ratings you can get. There's been a couple of deadly ones just recently in the States here while I've been over here. So I think 17 people that lost their lives. They were EF2s. Now, this particular site pays tribute to the hundreds of victims that have been identified and laid to rest. Now, when I first left in 2011, it was not much over 100. When I came back in 2012 for the first anniversary, when 10,000 people marched along the 6-mile route to this very point, it was only 1 3/4 miles wide, but for 38 minutes the tornado ripped through this part of Joplin, Missouri, and the latest death count is put at 165. Some places you'll read different figures. Obviously some of the printed material takes a while to catch up with the actual facts and figures. Now, there's a lot of memorials here. We're inside one of the houses, reconstructed. Right in front of us is a tribute to the many thousands of volunteers that came to assist. They put the figure in excess of 125,000 volunteers. That was registered volunteers. There's a lot of them. I can speak from fact. We didn't bother to register. We just went and did a job. There was over 8,000 buildings that were destroyed. Now, all these houses you see here in front of me are all brand new homes built since the tornado. 38 minutes. Now, if you don't know what an EF5 tornado is, think of winds in excess at 360 kilometres an hour or 200 miles an hour. You really don't stand much chance. But one of the tributes in this area is what they call the butterfly garden. And we'll go and have a look at the butterfly garden. And there's some really touching quotes about young children who, in one case, the young girl was held down by her father, literally holding on the grass. And after the wind stopped, she said, "Daddy, we were okay. A butterfly was holding us down." And there's numerous stories, treating as fact, fiction, whatever you like. But the children decided they would like a butterfly garden. So that's what's here. Now, one of the 4 words that was so common around Joplin is hope. Hope for the future, hope to rebuild, which they have. Now, this particular wall here marks off the 38 minutes that the tornado struck the ground. And we're going to walk up to a very special place here and look through it. There's a hole in the wall. Why is there a hole in the wall? That represents the time when the tornado actually touched down, 5:41 p.m. There's many stories. I've relayed them in other YouTube clips on writings and things like that. But if you look and imagine that the cars aren't there, the frame, this total area was totally devastated at 5:41 p.m. It touched down right here in Cunningham Park and took out the regional medical centre, many of the patients, many of the staff. Not a good situation to have in disaster time. They had a survey what the children and what the people would like, and they decided that Cunningham Park should be re-established. Have nice green trees, quite reflective areas for kids to play in. You can see kids playing in the water over there, and gardens and things like that. Benches where you can sit and look at what the 38 minutes that the EF5 tornado was on the ground, marked on the wall in front of us there, and reflect. It has officially been put down as the 7th deadliest tornado to hit America in recorded history. So that puts it into perspective. Now, right next door to the outline at these three homes is a new build home, but next door to it is one of the original homes. So we're right on the edge of the swathe here. The Walmart in the background wasn't there. But it's an area of life now where you see children playing, adults reflecting, visitors like ourselves make a regular pilgrimage to this particular place. Some people come here to remember relatives, family members that are no longer with them. Other people are volunteers who come back here, like myself, for 1, 2, 3. Well, this is my 4th visit. I had hoped to be here in 2021 for the 10th anniversary, but unfortunately travel was not permitted, so I couldn't be here, and it's taken a couple more years to get here. But nevertheless, this is part of an ongoing series on Joplin and how the people have recovered. This is the Volunteers Memorial here to represent in excess of 250,000 volunteers who came here to help. Right, and used their bare hands for a start before other facilities were around, and of course the local people were the ones who started it all off. They made this simple memorial here that tells the story. At 5:41 p.m. on May 22nd, 2011, EF5 tornado ripped through Cunningham Park in the greater Joplin area, leaving a path of death and destruction 1 mile wide, 6 miles long in its wake. Over 160 people perished, and what immediately followed was staggering numbers and personal accounts in the miracle of the human spirit. And that's the outpouring of volunteers, things like that. There's materials that they recovered from the house here, representing what happened, ongoing rescue, recovery, demolition and rebirth. So some artefacts here that were found in the house, things like locks, broken crockery, a knife, a door. Unfortunately, some vandals have taken things here, which is pretty low act. So these are some things they found, and then this is dedicated to the volunteers here. This particular park, a mosaic in the centre of it, and there's a tribute band uniting volunteers, locals, whether volunteers were emergency services or whether they were just private people. the Miracle of Humanity band over there. And we'll just go over to one more part of Cunningham Park here in Joplin, Missouri, and that is the children's garden. Unfortunately, a lot of children weren't protected by the butterflies and they lost their lives. Just recount one story of a family attending graduation at their son, Joplin High School, and we just went and had a look at the new rebuild of it. It's been up for a few years now. They got school back very quickly, but they gave him a Jeep as a graduation present, and the son and dad went to go home in it. Tornado picked them up. The father tried to grab his son, but he was sucked out of it to his ultimate death. He was actually found over in Nebraska, some distance away. And in a way it was a little bit of closure in that at least that they found him. There's a number of victims who were never found, and that's why the count of 165 is problematic and will probably continue to rise as new names come to light and those sort of things. So this is a reflection pond developed in honour of children at Joplin that will never play in this park again as a result of the May 22nd tornado. And from the Joplin's Parks Recreation, please let your children use the parks and area facilities in these parks, and let them remember and honour those who are no longer with us. So you can see the peak at the chapel in the background over there, immediately between the light posts. That was the chapel at the regional medical facility. So this is Cunningham Park, a place of reflection, contemplation and ongoing respect and admiration for not only the people who lost their lives in the May 22nd, 2011 EF5 tornado, but also to those who are left with the legacy of missing family, friends, work colleagues, and those who came to assist them. No doubt many of those people suffered serious trauma. So respectful comments are welcome. If you're able to add to the story at Joplin, that's fine. Look back on the earlier clips, the photographs that showed the utter destruction when I first arrived here in 2011, and then add a comment to either them or to this comment, to this thing. But give us a thumbs up in respect of the people that died here, the people whose lives were changed, and those who helped them, and subscribe to the channel.